makes the show so interesting. It may seem like I'm out here by myself, but this is the work of an enormous and incredibly dedicated crew. So bravo to you guys. Smoked egg pate, Israeli egg salad like you've never tasted, Malaysian grilled tofu, bean curd even a carnivore will love, Thai grilled bananas, coconut caramel, and flame-grilled fruit. From the beautiful Esplendor Resort in southern Arizona, I'm Stephen Reichlin. Today on Primal Grill, we're grilling vegetarian. Heat without meat. Yes, we read your emails, and we're always surprised how many of you clamor for vegetarian grilling. So today, I'm going to take you on a world tour of meatless grilling. Israeli smoked egg pate, Malaysian grilled tofu, and coconut grilled bananas from Thailand. Hot off the grill, hold the meat. We ought to have a electric match. Do we have one of those? All right, guys, how our eggs come out? All right, we guys ready to nail this? Egg salad might be the last thing you'd think of preparing on the grill, unless you're the chef of the Auberge Choulamette. Smoked egg pate is the house specialty of this historic restaurant in Rosh Pinah, Israel. Here's how we prepare it on Primal Grill. First step, you need 6 hard-boiled eggs, cooking time about 11 minutes. Next step, let me show you how to turn your charcoal grill into a smoker. It's easier to smoke the eggs on a charcoal grill than on a gas grill. I like to use natural lump charcoal. You can see the jagged shape. To light it, you use a chimney starter. That's this cylindrical shaped device. You place a piece of crumpled newspaper or a paraffin starter at the bottom. And always light your chimney on the grill using a butane match and light it. The beauty of a chimney starter is that it funnels the heat upwards so that the charcoal lights uniformly without lighter fluid. And I have a batch of charcoal I lit earlier. What you want to do is set up your grill for indirect grilling. That means that you dump the lit coals in these side baskets. And you leave the center of the grill coal-free. Now, simply place the grate on the grill, and the eggs go on the grate, away from the heat. And to smoke the eggs, I'm using hardwood chips. These are actually cherry. They've been soaked in water for about 1 hour. So it's a handful on each mound of coals. And the reason you use soaked chips, they will smolder and smoke rather than catch fire as they would if they were dry. Okay, finally, simply cover the grill. You always want to position the vent holes in between the 2 mounds of coals. That way the smoke will be drawn over the egg in an even fashion. Wide open, we want to smoke these at a fairly high temperature. Smoking time, 15 to 20 minutes. The egg has long played a symbolic role in the Jewish tradition. For example, you traditionally eat egg salad and other dairy products to break the fast after Yom Kippur. An egg roasted in the shell appears on the ritual food platter at a Passover Seder, a symbol of spring and new beginnings. Swap outs? Can I clear over here? The next thing we're going to do, so while that's grilling, I'm going to show you how to make pita bread. And we're going to make the za'atar, right? And the za'atar is a mixed herb. We need a pastry brush.
And go.
It's been 20 minutes, and you can see the beautiful ochre color of the eggs. That's due to the smoke. if you haven't burned all your charcoal, if you put the lid back on and close the vents, it will put the charcoal out. You can reuse it another time. Cut each egg into quarters. Next, transfer the eggs to a food processor. The Auberge Shulamit is a wonderful restaurant and inn located in an artist town in the north of Israel called Rosh Pinah, and it actually overlooks the Sea of Galilee. So once you have the eggs in, we'll add mayonnaise. It's about 1 tablespoon per egg. And then a little salt, a little freshly ground black pepper, and a few tears of fresh lemon juice. Squeeze the lemon between your fingers to catch any seeds. And you want to puree the pate, running the processor in short bursts. And of course, your most important tools are your taste buds, so taste it. Right on the money. Smoked foods are something of a specialty at the Auberge Shulamit, and it's a very interesting story. One of the owners of the restaurant had a friend who came from the United States and demonstrated the art of Southern-style American smoking. And at the restaurant, you'll find smoked egg pate, smoked chicken, and even smoked goose breast. And the last step, just a little chopped fresh flat leaf parsley. And to serve with the smoked egg pate, another Israeli specialty, pita bread grilled with za'atar. So to grill the pita bread, you're going to use a different setup, direct grilling in a 3-zone fire. Here's what you do. Dump out the coals in a thick layer over 1/3 of the grill, slightly thinner layer in the center. Just adjust the coals like this. You want to leave 1/3 of your grill coal-free. Now, what's the reason for that? I call this the safety zone. Pita bread has a tendency to burn very easily. So by leaving yourself a safety zone, if it starts to burn, you can move it to the cooler part of the grill. Next step is to make the za'atar. And za'atar is a sort of a rub, a Middle Eastern rub. Every recipe is different. Mine consists of equal parts oregano, marjoram, thyme, toasted sesame seeds, and finally a little salt for flavor. And as you've seen me do before, I like to mix the ingredients for the rub with my fingers. That way, if there are any lumps, you can break them up. Now for the pita breads, spread the pita out and brush the bottoms with extra virgin olive oil. And then season the pita breads with some of your za'atar. Za'atar is used as a seasoning throughout the Middle and Near East. And as always, remember to brush and oil your grill grate. Couple swipes of a metal grill brush. And to oil the grate, dip either a folded paper towel or this cotton cloth in vegetable oil and run it across the bars of the grate. This will keep the pita from sticking. Now, simply arrange the pita bread on the grill. Cooking time is quick, 30 seconds max per side. Remember, the grill was the original toaster. And you want to keep the pita breads moving. And the beauty of having this cool or safety zone is once the pitas are cooked, you simply move them here. You don't need to worry about them burning. Now you can see I actually did burn the edge a little bit on this pita. I'm not worried. Remember, the act of grilling, it's sort of a ballet between cooking and burning, and right at that caramelized edge, that's where all the flavor is. So all we need to do now is simply stack the pita up. Cut them into wedges. Man, I can't wait to try this. That smoked egg flavor and the herbal flavor in the pita. You know, when we were developing this recipe in the test kitchen, the crew could not stop eating it. So there you have it, smoked egg pate with za'atar grilled pita, from Israel to Arizona to you.
Okay, very nice. That's a cut.
Are we okay to roll?
Why is grilled tofu so popular in Asia? Well, first of all, remember, bean curd was invented here in China. And then there's what I call the blank canvas syndrome. Tofu by itself is a highly efficient form of protein, but it's rather bland. It's a perfect foil for whatever flavors the grill master wants to bring to it. Not sure. Okay, great. So we have our tofu here, then we cut, then we try to press it. So for the pressing.
Very quiet, here we're gonna roll.
Tofu may not be the first ingredient most Americans think of grilling, but if you travel around Southeast Asia, you find it everywhere. Here's how they make tofu steaks at the popular Tom Yum Classic restaurant in Kuala Lumpur. Now, this is a block of extra firm tofu, and the first step is to cut it into steaks. So what you want to do is cut it in half, and then cut each half in half again. And in order to grill tofu, it's a good idea to press it first. This removes some of the extra moisture. So what you do is set it on a baking sheet lined with paper towels, tofu on top, and then more paper towels, another baking sheet, and finally a bowl of water as a press. You press the tofu about 30 minutes to 1 hour. What this does, extract some of the extra liquid, so when you go to grill the tofu, it's firmer. And here is some tofu we pressed earlier. Next step, the chili peanut sauce. I have heated some vegetable oil on the side burner of my grill. And now we'll add typical Asian aromatics, chopped fresh garlic, ginger, shallot, and cilantro, also known as coriander leaf. And what you want to do is fry this mixture until it's aromatic and just beginning to brown. It's very nice to have a grill with a side burner. Once the mixture is sizzling, add the remaining ingredients. And they are Malaysian chili paste, palm sugar or light brown sugar, chopped toasted peanuts, hoisin sauce, which is a sweet, salty Chinese condiment made with soybeans and sugar, sesame seeds, optional MSG, and finally, a few tablespoons of water to thin the sauce to pourable consistency. Now return the mixture to the side burner. You want to simmer the sauce until thick and richly flavored. That's about 5 to 10 minutes. Meanwhile, back to the tofu. So here's our drained tofu, and what you want to do is lightly brush the top of each tofu steak with vegetable oil. We'll brush the other side when the tofu's on the grill. So let's take a look at the sauce. Okay, here's our sauce. The aroma is unbelievable. That ginger just really hits you. And what you want to do now is just brush a little bit of the sauce on top of the tofu. And the sugar in the sauce will help the tofu brown and caramelize. What I love about Asian grilling is that the flavors are so dynamic and explosive. So finally, the grill. Now, I preheated the grill to screaming hot. We'll arrange the tofu pieces on the grill, and so we'll turn the oiled side down. And what you want to do while the tofu is grilling on one side is just lightly brush the tops with oil. And again, with a little bit more of your sauce. And what you can do is give each tofu steak a quarter turn. Just kind of slide the spatula under it. The idea here is we want to lay on a crosshatch of grill marks. Notice when I grill, I always try and line the foods up in neat rows. That way, when it's time to turn, I can start at the beginning, work through to the end. So we'll grill on one side, and then turn the tofu over. Beautiful crosshatch of grill marks. And you can brush the tops of the tofu a little bit more sauce for extra color and flavor. A lot of you ask how I come up with all of these recipes. Well, the simple answer is I travel. I spend about 4 to 5 months a year on the road. In the last 3 years, I have visited 53 countries in the dogged pursuit of the best of the world's grilling. Total cooking time is really quick. It's about 4 minutes per side. You do that half turn after 2 minutes. Remember that tofu is cooked when it comes out of the package. So really what you're just trying to do is caramelize the surface. Give it those great grill marks and extra flavor. You may wonder why I'm using a spatula and not tongs. Well, tofu is fragile, and the spatula helps it hold together.
Okay, very nice. That's a cut.
When the tofu is brown, it is done. And finally, with the tofu, slivered fresh pineapple, cucumber, and bean sprouts. And the bean sprouts, cucumber, and pineapple give you a contrast of texture, flavor, and even temperature, cold and hot. Here it is, our grilled tofu steaks with Malaysian chili peanut sauce. Okay, so a piece of tofu, and then you can grab some pineapple, cucumber, and bean sprouts. And finally, a spoonful of sauce. Man, I can't wait to dive into this. The tofu is utterly transformed. It's got the crust on the tofu, that sweet pepper sauce. It's really fantastic. So, there you have it. Malaysian tofu steak, chili peanut sauce, gives you a whole new perspective on bean curd. Grilled bananas may still be something of a novelty in North America, but in Southeast Asia, you find them on street corner push carts everywhere. Tonight, grilled bananas Thai style, basted with coconut caramel sauce. I bet you can't eat just one. First, the sauce. I've heated a saucepan over our hibachi, and to it add 1/2 cup of light brown sugar or palm sugar. They'd use palm sugar in Southeast Asia. What you want to do is melt the sugar and cook it until it starts to caramelize. That's about 5 to 8 minutes. Add your coconut milk, and the mixture may hiss and sputter. That is a good thing. And stir the mixture until the sugar dissolves in the coconut milk. Then place it back on the fire to melt the sugar. And while that's working, let me show you the bananas. So we're using these tiny finger bananas, and what you want to do is just cut the banana off the stem and peel it, ideally right before grilling. And if you can't find finger bananas, use the smallest conventional bananas you can find. And the sugar is melted, the sauce is bubbling away. So what you want to do is just close this vent a little bit. That turns the heat down. Now let me show you how to prepare the grill for the banana. We want a screaming hot fire. So we'll open the vent here. Okay, last of all, arrange the bananas on the grate in a neat row. Why a neat row? So they cook evenly. And you can remember which one needs turning. This recipe was inspired by a street vendor who grills off of a pushcart behind the Thai Orchid Sheraton Hotel in Bangkok. Her bananas are so famous, she's been written up by guidebooks around the world. And now, as the bananas grill, what you want to do is baste them with this coconut caramel sauce. The aroma is absolutely incredible. And if the heat gets too hot, simply close down this damper. And the beauty of these finger bananas is they're supernaturally fruity and sweet. When the bananas are golden brown, they're done. It's really quick. So here are your grilled bananas, and you can just take a little bit more of the coconut caramel sauce and spoon it over the bananas and serve the remaining sauce on the side. And there you have it, Thai grilled bananas with coconut caramel. Let's see how we did. This is like banana coconut candy. So that concludes our show on vegetarian grilling. Smoked egg pate, Malaysian grilled tofu, and Thai coconut grilled bananas. See you next time. Come on in, everybody, and try this.
Train whistle. Yeah.
Thai coconut grilled bananas. Hot off the grill. So that concludes our You find grilled tofu in Thailand, Indonesia. Grilled bananas may still be something of a Victor's grilled shrimp. Offbeat technique, amazing results. Salt grilled rib steak, beef and salt. Simplicity raised to an art form. Crema catalana. Creme brulee cooked the old-fashioned way with a fire-heated iron. From the picturesque Esplendor Resort in southern Arizona, I'm Stephen Reichland. Today, it's Spanish smoke and fire.
able to recognize it, Steven?
Can he come just a little bit more towards camera?
It's on
Grill
chart.
stop. No, but it's Spanish.
Good.
Keep going.
Thank you.
Okay.
Spanish barbecue has 1 foot in the Stone Age and 1 foot in the Space Age. Caveman-style grilling like flame-charred leeks and steaks grilled under a finger-thick crust of sea salt. Futuristic grilling with flavoring shot from spray bottles. Today, on Primal Grill, I give you Spanish smoke and fire. Call this less is more food, as in the less you do to it, the better it tastes. This may surprise you coming from Spain's archly innovative grill restaurant, Eshtabari. A mist of wine, a spray of extra virgin olive oil are all you need for the shrimp to obtain fiery perfection. For the richest flavor, buy shrimp with the shells intact. As the shells caramelize over the fire, you'll get an incredible taste. Cut down the back of the shrimp using kitchen scissors. Then open the shrimp up, and if there's a vein, you want to scrape it out with the tines of a fork. Now, continue cutting the shrimp down to the bottom shell, and just slide your thumbs under the shrimp to loosen it from the shell. This will make it easier to eat. Put the whole thing back together and your shrimp is ready for skewering. I like to use flat bamboo skewers. That way the shrimp stay in place and won't spin. And pass the point of the skewer through the bottom of the shrimp and then through the top of the shrimp and assemble your kebabs just like this. Leave half of the skewer shrimp free so you have a handle for grabbing the kebab. So we're working with natural lump charcoal. You can see the shape of the original branch. Light the charcoal in a chimney starter, place the charcoal on the top, a crumpled piece of newspaper or a paraffin starter in the bottom. The beauty of a chimney starter, the vertical shape funnels the heat upright so you light the coals evenly without having to use petroleum-based lighter fluid. So I have 2 chimneys lit already, and what you want to do is dump out the coals. This thing, by the way, is called a bale, and it helps you direct the coals. Then put the grill grate in place. And this grill is called a Kamado cooker. It's a ceramic grill, big, thick walls that hold the heat. And as always, we start with a hot grill. We clean it with a stiff wire brush and oil it with a folded paper towel, dipped in vegetable oil, and drawn across the bars of the grate. And now the shrimp. So grab a grill shield and place it on the leading edge of the grill. Then take the shrimp and arrange the shrimp so that the bamboo skewer is over the aluminum foil grill shield. Now the cool part. First, mist the shrimp with dry white wine from a spray bottle. Then a squirt of extra virgin olive oil, a sprinkle of coarse sea salt, and freshly ground black pepper. The cooking time is quick, a minute or 2 per side. So simply turn the shrimp. You get this really amazing fragrance from the roasted shrimp shell. Keep spraying and grilling the shrimp until the shells are darkly browned and the shrimp meat is cooked through. Remember, olive oil is very much like wine. It has what the French call the goût du terroir, the taste of the earth. And a Spanish olive oil will taste very different than a French oil or an Italian oil. Since this is a Spanish dish, you are best served by using a Spanish olive oil. And if some of the shells start to burn before the remaining shrimp are cooked, simply pull them onto the grill shield where it's cooler. Finally, to test for doneness, use the pinch test. You want to squeeze the shrimp. If they feel firm to the touch and the flesh is white, the shrimp are cooked. And I'll serve the shrimp on a cast iron griddle, reminiscent of a Spanish plancha. Check these out. Just want to sort of peel the shell off the shrimp. It's really nice. The wine goes great with the smoky scent from the shrimp shells. Shrimp grilled with wine and sea salt, because sometimes when you're grilling, the less you do, the better it tastes. I love Spain. I've been there many times, and each time I go, I learn something new, not only about barbecue, but about food. Spain probably has some of the most innovative avant-garde food coming out of it, but the Spanish are also deeply rooted in tradition. Next up, two classics of Spanish grilling: salt-grilled rib steaks and grilled Spanish leeks. I give you chuletón and calzots. And to grill both, a wood-burning grill that means business. This is a front-loading wood-burning grill. It's lined with fire brick, the fuel, hardwood logs. And as you place the logs inside the grill, leave space between each one so the air can circulate. You need to leave yourself plenty of time to preheat this grill, a couple of hours to bring it up to temperature. First up, the romesco sauce. Romesco sauce is a sort of Catalonian salsa. It starts with red bell pepper, tomatoes, onions, garlic, grilled bread, and añora or pasilla chili. Now, when to prepare the grill, start by brushing and oiling the grill grate. Grilling time on the chili, real quick, 10 to 15 seconds per side. You can see it sort of puffs up and smokes. Grill the bread until darkly brown on both sides. Keep the tomatoes and peppers turning. The idea is to blister the skins over the wood fire. And as each vegetable is browned and tender, take it off the grill. Soak the pasilla chili in water to soften it. This is what it looks like. And you want to cut it open and scrape out the seeds. Take the onion off the skewer and cut each onion quarter in half. I love wood-grilled vegetables. The heat brings out their sweetness. Then remove the toothpicks from the garlic. And on the tomatoes, you just want to scrape off if there's any burnt skin and scrape off the stem end. Cut the tomato in 2 or 3 pieces. And you can cut the bread slices in quarters. And finally, scrape any really burnt skin off the peppers. You can leave a few little bits for color. Cut the pepper open. Scrape out any seeds. Next, place the wood-grilled vegetables and bread in the food processor. Then add toasted almonds and finely chopped flat leaf parsley. And process the mixture to a smooth paste. You just want to scrape down the bowl a couple of times to puree all the vegetables. Next, add red wine vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, salt, and freshly ground black pepper. Now transfer the romesco sauce to a serving bowl. And clean and oil the grill one more time. And now the fun part, grilling the steaks. These are beautiful rib steaks, each one about 2 inches thick and certainly more than a pound. So lay the rib steaks on the grill, all going the same direction. I said these were salt grilled, and I meant it. On top of each rib steak, place a good handful of sea salt. Don't be alarmed, you're not going to eat all of this salt, but it will help give the meat a great flavor and a savory crust. Give each one a quarter turn to lay on a crosshatch of grill marks. And while you're at it, grill the calzotes, the green onions. Cooking time for the steaks is pretty quick. It's about 4 to 6 minutes per side. The way you tell when the steaks are ready to turn, you can see the blood start to pearl up on the top of the steak. So at this point, you want to turn the salt grilled steak over and salt the other side of the rib steaks the same way. And don't forget to turn the calzotes. They should be darkly brown on all sides. The calzote is grilled dirt and all. What you do is you extract the sweet, smoky onion from the dirt and the roots and dip it in romesco sauce, which is a grilled vegetable and nut sauce. There are calzote societies and great calzote dinners where people get hideously messy in the process of eating this dish. So how do you know when the rib steaks are cooked? I prefer to use the poke test. That is, you poke the steak, and by feeling the resistance, you know the doneness. Now, you have a built-in instant read meat thermometer at the end of your arm. Make the OK sign and feel the pad of flesh at the base of your thumb. In this position, it feels soft and squishy. That corresponds to the feeling of a rare steak when poked. Move your thumb over to your middle finger. That is what a medium rare steak feels like. Move it over to your ring finger, pretty firm. That would correspond to a medium steak. Finally, over to your baby finger, hard and springy. That corresponds to a well-done steak. We do not cook steaks well done here on Primal Grill. Okay, so I think we can take the steaks off. And what you want to do with each steak is stand it up and knock off all that excess salt. salt grilled rib steaks with calzotes and romesco sauce. Let's see how we did. And it's nice and rare, the way I like it. It's incredibly flavorful and not the least bit over-salted. Let's try the calzotes. Now in Spain, you'd eat these with your fingers. Very messy process. Great smoky flavor from the vegetables. So there you have it. Basque salt grilled rib steak, calzotes with romesco sauce. It's an apotheosis of smoke and fire.
Okay, I think we got it. Thank you, everybody.
So, Ron, what lights we need up here?
It's too hot right now. I have to let it cool down. All good. Thank you, Andres.
Catalan cream is the Spanish cousin of French creme brulee, but instead of caramelizing the sugar with a blowtorch, use an iron heated in the fire. Did someone say fire? I give you crema catalana, primal grill style. Step number 1, warm the milk in a saucepan. There are 3 flavorings. First, vanilla bean, and what you do is cut the vanilla bean in half, lengthwise. And as you open it, you can see it's filled with thousands of tiny black vanilla seeds. That's where the flavor comes from. So add the vanilla bean. Next, strips of lemon zest. That is the oil-rich outer rind of the lemon. And finally, a couple of cinnamon sticks. Now return the milk to the fire and bring it to a gentle simmer. Meanwhile, let me show you how to make the custard. To 12 egg yolks, add granulated sugar and cornstarch. Whisk the mixture until smooth. Then a couple of tablespoons of honey. Once your milk is scalded, add it little by little to the custard mixture and whisk this in. This is a process called tempering the eggs. You don't want to add all the hot milk at once, or you might curdle the egg yolks and break the glass bowl. And add a few more tablespoons. And finally, once the egg yolks are tempered, you can pour the remaining hot milk through a sieve. Whisk well to mix. Then return the Catalan cream mixture to the saucepan. Now return the pot to the fire. Bring the Catalan cream mixture to a boil, whisking steadily, and boil it for about 3 minutes. It will thicken. Let the mixture cool to room temperature, then chill it for at least 3 hours. Here's a batch I made earlier. Ladle the Catalan cream mixture into creme brulee molds or cast iron skillets. Meanwhile, lay a third cast iron skillet in the embers. And what you want to do is sprinkle cinnamon sugar over the tops of the Catalan creams. This is turbinado sugar, which is a coarse crystallized light brown sugar with a little bit of cinnamon. And smooth the tops as evenly as you can. And to check the heat of the skillet, add a few drops of water. They should evaporate instantly. And now, the moment of truth. Take the hot skillet and press it on top of the sugar. It will melt and form a hard candy crust. And the easiest way to clean the skillet is simply put it back on the fire. What you do is you sort of crack the candy crust. That is exquisite. That creamy, lemony custard on the hard, smoky candy. Creme brulee, eat your heart out. So I hope you've enjoyed our show on Spanish smoke and fire. Wine-grilled shrimp, salt-grilled rib steak, and calzots, and crema catalana. From Spanish fire to primal grill. See you next time. Don't be alarmed. You're not going to eat all this salt, but will help. Don't be alarmed, but it will give a great flavor to. Hang on one sec. And help form a savory crust. But it will help give the meat. I got to do it one more time. Tomatoes and peppers turning. Whoa! And I have one we made earlier, which I'm going to pull out as soon as it comes. Piri-piri chicken wings, blasted with chilies and smoking hot off the grill. Sosatis, shish kebab Afrikaner style, marinated with wine and grilled with fruit. Kenyan leg of lamb, rotisserie grilled with mint sauce for grown-ups. From the scenic Esplendor Resort in Rio Rico, Arizona, I'm Stephen Reichland. Today on Primal Grill, out of Africa and hot off the fire. Years ago, a human ancestor called Homo erectus learned how to cook meat over fire. This first barbecue had a profound effect on human evolution, on how we think, how we act, and even how we look. Today, we focus on Africa, where live fire cooking began. Out of Africa to the Primal Grill. Nando's is the most famous restaurant chain in South Africa, and it was all built on a single recipe, chicken grilled with fiery piri-piri sauce. You could think of our first dish as buffalo wings under African skies. And it all starts with chicken wings. This is a whole chicken wing. You want to cut off the wing tip and save it for chicken stock, then cut the wing into two parts. Let me show you again. And the whole trick to cutting a chicken wing, you kind of find the joint and just let your knife glide right through it. As always, with working with chicken or any meat outdoors, keep it on ice. The marinade starts with onion, sliced fresh ginger, whole cloves of garlic, cilantro, salt, and freshly ground black pepper. When you're pureeing a marinade or sauce in a food processor, start with the dry ingredients first, grind them to a paste, then add your liquids. In this case, vegetable oil, freshly squeezed lemon juice. I always squeeze lemon between my fingers to catch the seeds. And the namesake seasoning for this marinade, piri piri sauce. It is a fiery hot sauce made with a tiny chili, originally from South America. And we'll add a little, and a little more, and we might as well add the entire bottle. Puree the ingredients together into a smooth sauce. And stir the chicken wings to coat completely with marinade. Marinate the piri piri wings for at least 6 hours or as long as overnight. I'm gonna wash my hands. Now let me show you how to set up the grill. There are actually two options for grilling the wings, direct grilling or indirect grilling. I prefer indirect grilling. I think the skin comes out a little crisper. To set up the grill for indirect grilling, preheat it to high with all the burners on full blast, then turn off the central burners. And you'll cook the wings in the center with the heat coming from the outside burners. As always, you want to clean the grill grate and oil it with a folded paper towel, dipped in oil, and drawn across the bars of the grate. And here's another advantage of oiling a grill with a paper towel. You give the grate one last clean. Here is a batch of chicken that we marinated earlier. It's been marinating for 6 hours. And what you want to do is arrange the pieces on the grate with the skin side up and any cut exposed meat side down. That way, as the chicken wings cook, the melting fat will baste the meat. And as always, when you're indirect grilling, shut the grill lid. Remember, indirect grilling, close lid so the heat circulates. You're creating a sort of outdoor oven. Next up, the glaze. Now, the glaze is a sort of reprise of the marinade. It starts with butter, garlic, and finely chopped cilantro. And what you want to do is sizzle these ingredients on your grill's side burner. And you want to sizzle these ingredients for a few minutes until the garlic loses its rawness. And the garlic is fragrant and aromatic, just beginning to brown. So now add the lemon juice and additional piri piri sauce. Peri peri chicken is one of those iconic South African dishes, much the way that fried chicken is in the United States. The original peri peri chicken was prepared by a restaurant called Nando's. Today, there are dozens, if not hundreds of Nando's around South Africa, even in the airports. In fact, peri peri chicken is one of the few dishes I look forward to eating when I'm at the airport in South Africa. And it's been 40 minutes. The wings sure look done, but what you want to do is check, and here's how you do it. You cut into one of the wings, and you just want to look at the meat at the bone. You can see it's white, not a trace of red. the wings are ready. And then you just take this piri-piri glaze and you want to pour it over the wings. Just to bring up the flavor, a little bit more cilantro. And here are the piri-piri wings, Nando style. Let's see how we did. Crisp skin, moist meat, fiery sauce, peri-peri chicken wings, hot stuff from South Africa. I guess I see myself as a sort of culinary anthropologist. I study human history and culture through the lens of barbecuing and grilling. If you think about it, grilling is the world's oldest cooking method and most universal cooking method, and yet everywhere people do it differently. Meat grilled on a stick turns up in every corner of Planet Barbecue. The South African version goes by the Afrikaner name sosaties. Like all good Cape Malay dishes, it contains curry powder and dried fruit, which makes these kebabs some of the most flavorful on the African continent. Now, to be strictly authentic, you'd use two kinds of meat: diced lamb, either shoulder or leg, and diced pork tenderloin. The marinade is a two-step process. First, you add the dry ingredients: brown sugar, curry powder, coriander seeds, salt, black peppercorns, and strips of orange zest to the meat, and mix the spices into the meat. What you're doing, in effect, is creating what a North American would call a rub. Next, add dried apricots, thinly sliced onions, red wine vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, and heavy cream. And finally, a cup and a half of a dry red wine, like Zinfandel. For the onion, first cut it in half, then cut each half into 6 wedges and break each wedge into sections. Once the meat is marinated, you want to drain the marinade through a strainer into a saucepan using a pot lid to hold the meat. Now, what's going to happen is the marinade will actually be boiled down into a sauce for the sosaties. Then place the marinade on a grill or a burner and boil it until reduced by about 1/3. Couple options for skewers. Now, you can use a slender bamboo skewer like this. Problem is, sometimes the meat kind of rolls in different directions from the other ingredients. So I like to use a flat bamboo skewer. First, a cube of lamb, bacon, apricot, a couple of onion slices, and you continue building the sosaties, alternating lamb and pork.
Okay, very nice. That's a cut.
Next, finish the sauce. You can see that the marinade mixture has reduced by about 1/3. So what you want to do is add apricot jam, butter, and a little more heavy cream. Season the sauce with coarse salt and freshly ground black pepper. Then return it to the heat and continue simmering the sauce